Excuse me, miss. What's that you're listening to?
Well, it's a podcast. It's all about this couple from England who are in a lifestyle and they talk about their adventures.
So is that child-friendly then, is it?
No. They say lots of naughty things and they swear a lot. But would you like to listen?
Get in the gym or to your car. With our advice you could go far. We fuck things up and we make mistakes. And talk about our sexy dates. It's getting hard for this to rhyme. Just as well cause it's bed hopping time.
Alright, stop. Collaborate and listen. Vanilla Ice is back with a brand new invention.
You do spring these things on me.
These things? These
things.
What are those things called? You know, things.
You just spring these things on me.
It was quite difficult to do that little rap.
Was it?
Yeah, it doesn't quite work.
Despite your tea gargling in advance.
Well, yeah, a little bit of tea gargling never does anybody any harm. Welcome to episode 57 of the Bed Hoppers podcast. My name is Mr. H.
I'm Mrs. H.
And this is a show all about me. Me.
I think you'll find I'm in the hot seat today, dear.
Is this not
It's
the
all
one?
about me.
Well, it's not all about you.
All about me and my fellow...
It's all about you.
And my fellow ladies.
And
my fellow ladies?
And your fellow ladies.
Yeah.
The fellowship of the
Lady rings.
lady rings. I was going to try and see if if it had been guys, I'd have said the cock rings. But
Okay, I can see where you're going with that.
yeah.
But this is all about me today.
Are you walking straight into Mordor?
Yes, if you like.
One does simply not walk into Mordor. So this is the lady episode. So in the last couple of weeks, we did a guy episode with me and Lord Voldemort and I. A cunning, simple play based on the story of his love, of a boy's love for Lord Voldemort. Lord Voldemort and I sat down and talked about men.
Men.
Ooga chaka. We did that. And
Very manly it was too.
very, very manly.
Yeah.
And then we changed ship for a little bit and talked about being bi.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So we covered that with the delightful Kiwi and Sherry,
Mm-hmm.
Lord Voldemort and Vanilla Ice.
Yep.
And in this episode,
Haha.
it is a complete focus on the ladies with you.
I thought you were going to say it was a complete fuck up there. Like, screw you.
Good guy, and go home. Well, one thing we decided to talk about was all about the lady.
Which is apt because we've been watching reruns of South Park this last week.
Well,
I'm
they're not
loving them.
They're not reruns.
Well, you know, like we're revisiting them.
You make it sound like it's like the BBC has got nothing else but to screen South Park.
Like remastered South Park editions.
Yeah, we're watching
Yeah.
it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
It's very good.
It's been great.
They're going to keep at it.
So we're going to keep watching that. Anyway, it's not what we have on in the background. This time round we have...
Men in Black 2, I
That's
believe.
right. Men Blackier.
What?
Men in Black 2, Men Blackier.
Even blackier.
Yeah. Slightly more black than last time.
I really like this film.
Do you?
I do, it's alright.
This is not a good film.
I didn't say it was a good film. I
You
said
made
I
a
liked
bad
it.
song, Petey. A bad song. This is a shit film.
I just said I liked it. That doesn't mean it's a good film.
Okay.
You can like shit films.
You can like shit films.
You like a lot of shit films.
No.
Yes, you really do.
No, I really don't.
You
However,
absolutely do.
this film is pretty fucking terrible.
Alright, it's not bad.
It has neither the original charm of the first one, like the it's out of nowhere, it's like this brand new adventure of that one, and it also doesn't have Jermaine Clement in it.
No, this is true. Actually, it's shit. It has no Jermaine Clement.
It has Johnny Knoxville.
Oh, yes, with his weird two heads, necks, whatever he's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit odd, isn't it?
No, so is it a shit film?
It's mediocre.
All right. Right.
Why have you put it on there?
Mr. H ruining dreams since 1977. Thank you very much. Please come
Oh,
again.
fine. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so thank you very
Ladies.
much. Well, yeah, we're going to get to that bit in a second. I want to say a huge thank you to Lord Voldemort for his help last time,
Yep.
and a huge thank you to Vanilla Ice for this time,
Yes.
and then also a huge thank you to
me.
No, I'm getting
To me.
to me, to me, my woodland chums. I've been dreaming of true
Thank you
love's
to
kiss.
me for doing a delightful interview and not fucking it up.
Yes, well done on you.
Thanks.
I was also going to say thank you to the Sharing is Caring podcast for the help on the Bye episode. We've received lots of nice feedback about both the men episode and the Bye one. Hopefully we'll get as much nice feedback about the lady one.
I'm sure we will.
And if we don't, then, it was just, a bit crap, really. I mean,
this is a nice episode. You're thanking everyone.
really,
Yeah,
I am a massive thanker.
you really are.
So before we play the tapes,
And thank anyone else.
because if we're going to be retro about things, we might as well play some tapes.
All right.
What have we got coming up?
I've got no idea.
Okay, fine. I'll tell everybody. Shall I? So we've got Desire on the cards.
Oh, well, we've always got that coming up.
Well, it's like 4 or 5 weeks away. It's like
It's
4 and a
less
bit.
than that. Yeah, it's
Well, it was 4 when we recorded this.
all right. Yeah, it's not long.
We've got one costume sorted. We've got to get our shit
Woo,
together.
we can just wear it like 6 ways. Turn it inside out.
Yeah,
Swap costumes one day.
Yeah.
That'll fox everyone.
nailed it. Winning. We've got 2 shows coming up where we would like your gentle listener
Oh
input.
yes, I'm excited about these.
Are you?
We have the Room 101.
Yes. So Room 101.
Room 101.
In Manawin.
Can you explain what that is?
I could.
Could you?
Yeah, well, I will.
Oh, good.
So this is what would you like to send into a room and banish it forever?
What would you like to send to a room?
Yeah. So are you talking specifically about maybe the lifestyle?
Yes, I think
Yes.
not just it's not like, oh, I hate ice cream truck rings or whatever they are,
Or
horns.
bad drivers, or people with no manners.
Yeah.
Although all those things should go into room 101 anyway.
People in lifts.
People in lifts.
People that get into a lift with you.
Well, what if I got into a lift with you?
That's fine. You're an assumed part of the party, but additional members.
Your
to the-
argument has massive flaws, dear.
It's my room 101. I can't even say the fucking thing. I'm going to struggle with this.
So, yeah, what you would put into this room to banish things forever.
Yes.
Because they're so deplorable and you hate them.
Yes. So
And they
please,
really grind your gears.
please write into us and let us know what we should put in room 101, what we can put into a t-shirt
Yes.
can and go boom, and
Yes.
fire it away, because it's shit.
Absolutely.
Particularly about the lifestyle, though. That would be good.
Yeah.
about
although I think
lifestyle.
people with bad manners should go in there anyway.
Well, that's fine.
Yes.
But anything that winds you up, things that we should banish, things that we should let go of.
Yeah.
And if you've got a few ideas on things we should do more of, we're open to that as well. Like the room 102 where we put the good things. I think that's how it works. Other things we've got coming up, or other episodes, we're going to be talking about taking one for the team. Now, I've got a lot to say about this.
Oh, you do?
Well, I have a lot to say about everything, to be
You
fair.
really do.
Yeah. But in this particular topic, I've got quite a lot of thoughts. And
Okay.
it's been brewing in my head like a cup of tea that is much colder than a
Oh,
cup of coffee.
fuck off. Here we go again. Like a perfectly temperate beverage that is of equal temperatures to coffee.
Look, we had a full-on science report from our
It's
good
utter
chums.
rubbish.
What, the science report?
But ultimately, it meant I was right, so that's all I took from
I'm
it.
still not entirely convinced
That's
on their
because it was
science
so wordy, I
credentials.
couldn't understand any of it.
You're just winding them up now.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, thank you very much for letting us know that Mrs. H
For
could have
not
been right.
actually revealing any scientific fact
Yes.
whatsoever.
Apparently there were too many differing factors and God knows what
Yeah.
else.
Well, the who and the hame, the bubbling, the little sides brewing over.
Anyway, ultimately I'm right because I've decided that.
And you talk
that
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm going to talk over you until which I've also learned is one of your favourite traits to do. When you want to barrel through.
Barrel through?
Yeah, that's your kind of like, I've got an opinion, I'm going to get it out there. And I think that might be because you're used to talking to me where you just have to blurt out
I have
stuff.
no choice because you talk so much.
Exactly. Oh, the other thing we should mention is that we had a nice social the other day.
Oh,
So if you cooked us a delightful Tom Hawk steak.
okay.
Hello. Thank you. It's very kind of you.
Well, it wasn't me, was it? Because I
No.
don't cook.
Well, I know that. It was delicious either way. Hey, I cook.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I made chili. It was good, wasn't it? Yeah, see, tell me I'm good. Tell me, please, let me know, please.
I'm not allowed to talk over you.
Oh, I know. Not anymore anyway. So, 2 things then. Room 101 stuff, if you've got any thoughts for going in that or things that we could do better. Secondly, if you've got thoughts on taking one for the team, do you do it? Should you do it? how does that work if you have like single play?
Yeah.
What happens if you are a single person in a lifestyle? Do you ever take one for the team?
I like that.
Yeah, well, that you might well do. You might
Oh
go
man,
with
I'm stuck
her.
myself again tonight.
Yeah, you might go with her to sleep with him, or vice versa.
Okay. Yeah.
See,
This
nobody's ever been this clever
Well,
from me.
we'll find
apparently.
out, won't we?
Yeah, when we cover that in the next couple of episodes, and then we'll probably do some little Desire wrap up at some point as well.
Sure.
Probably once we've been to Desire.
Yeah, that would be the best thing to do.
More
really.
useful, yeah. Anyway, I've rambled on for not quite long enough, but enough for your delicate ears, gentle listener. So now I'm going to introduce the delightful Mrs. H and Vanilla Ice. Mrs. H, play that thing.
We've got something that's just for you. Holy shit, it's an interview. So I'm joined today by the lovely Vanilla Ice.
Hello.
Hello. Who also goes by the name of Mrs. Lord Voldemort.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't need to belong to a man.
Oh, what a feisty way to start the episode.
Sorry.
So I should explain that the lovely Vanilla Ice is joining me today to talk about all things lady related. So we did have a go at doing this a couple of weeks ago.
It was really good.
It was an amazing episode, I have to say, but unfortunately the audio got cocked up. So here we are again, slightly less drunk.
Yes. Slightly more organised.
Yes, a little more organised. And we have the addition tonight of some delightful sparkly rosé and some chocolate.
Yes.
We are just so girly.
So girly. You're in your pyjamas.
I am
I'm
in my
about to get in
pyjamas.
mine. We can have a pillow fight. How does that work for you?
We couldn't be more stereotypical if we tried.
It's all right. We'll start weeping imminently.
So later we're going to have a pillow fight, ladies and gentlemen, and just generally be girls together. Yeah, because apparently that's what girls do.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about quite a few issues, I think, today that, or the boys talked about some issues, I think, in the last episode relating specifically to the size of old John Thomas's and
The old Boris Johnson.
the old Boris Johnson's. And then they had a good old chat about some of the issues that I think men face but just don't generally talk about. I like to say that us women get together a bit more frequently and talk about issues because I think we just generally do.
Yep. I
So
agree.
tonight we're going to kick off with body image to
Okay.
start the ball rolling.
Okay.
So when I say body image, that can conjure up any number of things. But for me, I think it's fair to say there's never been a moment in my life when I haven't been having some ridiculous meltdown or body crisis.
Okay.
And I think part of that is my relationship with I either use food as a kind of almost like a reward. I use it as a punishment. I use it as a weapon. I use it as celebration. If I'm in a crisis, I turn to food. I've just had this relationship in my life where my body is never quite what I want it to be.
Okay.
So I wonder, how do you feel about generally your body at the moment?
I'm quite lucky because, like Lord Voldemort was saying about him, I've got quite good metabolism. Despite having a thyroid problem, I'm still all right. So I think the time where I found it most difficult to deal with my body was just after having my first child, when I didn't know if things would ever go back to normal or what was normal for me, and my boobs in particular, just I thought they looked like ping pong balls in pillowcases.
What an enduring image.
It was just horrible, and I was used to having pretty amazing boobs. And so that was something I struggled with, and actually, because I've been lucky all my life, I sort of have. It's not that I didn't have empathy before, but I can see how people can blow things out of proportion or feel that there is something that they don't like about their body, and it can become a really big thing. So can I just say your body's lovely? So and I'm not just saying that. I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Yeah, well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because I think you're right. We should get better at accepting compliments when our respective other halves give us those lovely compliments. But it's hard to accept them sometimes, especially I think in this lifestyle where you're used to now seeing other people's bodies, and you can't help but go with an expectation that maybe the other woman's going to be a bit hotter than you, or he's going to be a different shape or different size. And, you know, a number of times I've gone in and I can't help but compare myself.
But don't forget, what's different about being in this lifestyle than being in a general dating arena is that actually probably the person's already seen you naked or a bit naked before they agreed to meet up with you. They might have seen your boobs out of a bra, for example, or your bum in sort of a G-string or something in one of the pictures on, Fab or something. So actually, they've seen that and they've thought, wow, she's really hot. I'd really like to meet up with her. I mean, I suppose something that the lads were talking about when they were talking is the fact, well, some people are just out for a fuck anyway, and they, sleep with anyone. But I think, you have been swiped left, swipe right, whatever however it works.
No greater compliment. You've been swiped.
Yeah. Oh, that's exciting. Is that what they call it these days?
I don't know. We haven't ventured into Tinder yet.
No. And it's far too complicated. Like, we've talked before about our problems with Reddit, so quite frankly, I think we've failed on Tinder.
Yeah, maybe Tinder's a step too far for us.
Yeah. So no, I think that you can see something in yourself and magnify it, and I think a lot of people, and I think especially women, but I don't know, do that, and they do compare themselves. I think. I don't know, tell me if you think I'm wrong. I think that women compare their whole bodies, whereas men are much more likely, and again I'm talking lifestyle-wise, to compare dick size and not the whole body. No, I don't know. I could be wrong.
Well, I think it's fairly common in the lifestyle for men to be comparing cock size, because obviously what they're not going to want to see is their partners being faced with a bit of a monster and going, oh well, clearly she's going to prefer that to mine. So,
which is rubbish anyway. Because
well, it is. But
it's not. It's such a cliche, isn't it? But it's not always what is. It's not about the size. It's what you can do, and if your dick isn't very big, that doesn't necessarily matter. There are other tricks in the toolbox. That's am I mixing my
other tools in their arsenals?
Yeah. What's that? Yeah. I've mixed my metaphors.
Plenty more ways to skin a cat, and so on and so forth.
I don't want someone to skin a cat for me.
No,
that'd be horrible.
Oh, it would be horrible.
Yeah. Don't listen, Mr. Kitty.
No. What a horrible segue. We're sorry. He's not well either.
Oh
God.
Oh, and he's in the room. Oh.
What you were saying about the pregnancy thing is interesting. I've had children, so I can very much relate to the fact that pre-pregnancy I was very used to having a body that I was extremely happy with, and it's fair to say pregnancy changes that quite radically. And some women are very lucky that it doesn't have any, really, really long-lasting sort of ramifications. But for me, it really did. I changed a lot, and it took me a long time to get around the fact that I was not ever going to get back the body I had prior to having children. Yeah. So, and with that came the shock of having enormous Babylons. Pregnancy, brilliant. This is amazing. Followed by a sort of very swift, what am I left with?
Yeah. When I was sort of in my 20s, I had amazing boobs. They were outstanding, literally.
Upstanding and outstanding.
Oh, they were great.
Mine were.
And then but now you see, now mine, having had a second child, they got smaller than I was saying about my issues after the first child, but actually after the second child they're just smaller, and actually I don't have the backache. And actually, they're less crinkly than they were after the first child. So I'm kind of...
You're right.
I am. I'm quite pleased I went through that horrible finding them revolting. Because now I'm like, do you know what? These are okay.
They are not revolting. They are lovely.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Where do you stand on the whole fake versus real then?
I always wanted fake boobs.
Oh my God, me too.
Like Pamela Anderson and the 90s. Oh my gosh.
The Baywatch
Oh my gosh.
figure.
I just thought it was incredible. I wanted that body. And I know people who have got fake boobs, and actually it's really increased their confidence and everything like that. For me, I have back problems anyway, so I don't think the extra weight would be sensible. And we've got a family history of breast cancer, so again, it's not something that I would choose now, knowing, you know, my dodgy back and family history of breast cancer.
I mean, you don't plan to run down a beach in a red swimsuit?
With or without fake boobs. Running is to be avoided at all costs unless there's an emergency. I suppose like someone drowning, in which case, you know.
Let me don my red swimsuit.
Let me find those boobs. So I think they can look really great. But for me, myself, it's not something I would do. How about you?
I am well documented as being somebody who is actively pursuing a route of surgery later in life.
But I don't... Okay, tell me why.
Interesting. So and this is difficult because Mr. H adores them as they are. And he is absolutely adamant he will find me less attractive if I went down a surgical route.
Okay.
And yet, every year we have the same conversation and I look pleadingly at him and say, but babe, I'd be so much happier if I had different boobs. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with them.
There really isn't. So what
so
is
I,
it about
I guess
your
it must be
boobs?
all in my head. But I tend to think that they're not, we're not where they used to be.
Right, because
So-
we're not the age we used to be.
No, correct. So
Yeah.
gravity is not my friend.
Yeah, okay.
I would like them to just be, I guess, fuller.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I am looking at you in your pyjamas.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen your boobs
Yeah.
out of your pyjamas.
Yeah. I'd like them to be
They're-
fuller.
They're
I don't want like big
amazing.
bowler hats or anything. I don't want them to be sort of like having their own postcode as you enter a room, but I just want them to be a bit fuller.
But you see, my boobs are much smaller than yours.
I don't think
They
so.
really are.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yes, are you serious? Like,
I just don't see it. I look at mine
but
every day and think,
I'm like, okay, do you know what?
"Huh."
I'm fine with them. Like, they're not the ping pong balls in pillowcases that they wear after child one. But I really,
yeah.
that's really interesting.
I know.
Isn't it?
It's fascinating. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this today, because I'm sure I'm not alone
No, I'm sure
in
not.
feeling, and I don't feel like I'm inadequate because I have the boobs I do and they're not fake. And equally, I do accept that some fake boobs, again, a generalisation, don't always look great, and they can go wrong, and they need replacing, and they're expensive. But I kind of look at women with the fuller breasts, and I just think, oh, it'd be so nice to like not have to wear a bra that makes them look better in some way, or.
But isn't that the same with all clothing, tight or loose or whatever? You're choosing something to project an image. So right now, tonight, I'm not in my pyjamas, but I'm in...
You're so jealous, though, aren't you?
I am.
Because I am in mine.
But, I know. But I'm in a big baggy jumper and some jeans. Obviously, listeners, you can imagine that we're actually sat here in sexy lingerie.
About to have a pillow fight, obviously.
Obviously. But the image I am projecting, I have chosen to project in this outfit is actually, do you know what? I'm just comfy, and I am comfortable in your presence, and obviously you are with me and everything like that. If I was going out on a first date or something, I would choose to dress up differently. So whatever we wear, whatever underwear we wear or whatever, it's to do with what we're wanting to project. So actually, I don't know. But, and so interestingly, I think a lot of people have concerns about is post-pregnancy foofs.
Foofs.
Janines, whichever you want to call them, vaginas. Now, I've had 2 sunroof babies. Therefore, I'm not very qualified to discuss this, but I know it's something that a lot of people have issues with, having had a...
Yeah, I've had 2 natural births. Hurt like hell. And
I'll be honest, C-section, not a walk in the park either.
No, I guess they both have their ups and downs and their pros and cons. But having had 2 natural births. Definitely it does change your janine a little bit. I think that's fair. I think some women opt for the designer vagina after childbirth naturally.
Yeah.
Especially if you have to stitch you up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not pretty down there.
And now, that's interesting. What is the design of vagina? Because I didn't realise until I sort of went down this path, went down the path, just how many variants there are.
Oh, the shapes and sizes one.
Uh-huh. I had no clue. I just sort of assumed everyone looked like me. I've not watched that much porn. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I spent years thinking I was a freak
Okay.
because I consider myself to be larger than average.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not saying I've got like a sleeve wizard or anything.
A sleeve
like
wizard.
the top of
Do
a
you mean
welly.
The wizard of a sleeve. No.
It's like sleeve of wizard.
Wizard sleeve.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, if
no,
you like.
but
a
you
wizard
don't.
sleeve.
But anyway, that's what.
However, I think the porn industry leaves us to believe that women do have neat and tidy janines generally, and that the favoured janine is kind of nice and trimmed and neat and doesn't have great big flaps hanging out. So it took me a while to kind of accept that I was quite different to that, and it really freaked me out for a while.
Okay.
To the point where I think at one point I even considered surgery
Okay.
to take them off.
And I spoke to someone the other day, and they were saying about how, I don't think the word that they used was revolted, but it was along those lines. It was that strong, and how they wanted to have designer vagina surgery, because they felt that there was too much flappage and it was too dark, and it in comparison to their skin tone, and I was like, oh, really?
It's interesting. Now, I'm not in the habit of displaying mine publicly or putting pictures everywhere of it. And if you trawl the pages of the dating sites and Fab and Twitter, you can't move for pictures of vaginas everywhere. And frankly, for me, that's a bit off-putting. However, I accept that they're there. But it does nothing really to make me feel better in terms of feeling like I'm not normal.
Is that because
some
you
way.
think that the people that post them are only people with, in inverted commas, neat for JJs, or
That's generally what I tend to see.
okay?
I don't tend to see a great deal of variance in terms of larger ones or ones that look a little more normal. Whatever normal is. But I think the point is it's funny when we got into the lifestyle. I know I really laboured the point with Mr. H, and like every time we played with someone, I'd say, okay, what was hers like compared to mine?
Really?
Yeah,
See, I
ridiculously
don't
so.
think.
I used to get really hung up over it. Bet she had a neat one, didn't she?
And I don't think I've asked Lord Voldemort at all.
What, you mean his preference or what he's found?
Either.
But then you've been lucky enough to investigate for yourself.
That's true. That is very true. And actually, I think probably I mentioned it more to him and sort of said, oh, that person was different than me, but not, definitely not in a sort of critical way. Just in
It's just surprised you.
oh, yeah, because, yeah, you just don't. And actually, LV and I went to a naked spa place. Very nice in Brighton. Very much enjoyed it. And I partly really enjoyed it because I really enjoyed looking at all the different shapes and sizes we come in. It's amazing, and not in a judgy way.
No.
Like genuinely not in a judgy way. I just don't think I had any idea of all the variants, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there's no right or wrong size or one size fits all, definitely. And that's what makes everyone amazing, that they're so different.
But it doesn't mean that you can't have issues about it.
And
about
I think,
how you feel.
Exactly. And I think that part of the issue there is just the desensitization of what we see around on social media and, on the porn sites. And it obviously just promotes that image of perfect, small, trimmed, nice, neat. It perpetuates that kind of, oh, I must be slightly freaky because I'm not like that.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
And it does nothing for women who are already suffering with a little bit of body dysmorphia or, you know, a crisis of how do I look and do I conform? So it's a difficult one.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay, so we've covered quite a few things with the body image there. So I think we'll move on to a slightly different topic.
Okay.
Yeah,
Lead
because
me.
we've got a lot of things to talk about tonight.
And we did it so well
We
the
did.
first time round.
We did. And there's no reason why we can't do it again.
Yes.
So I'm going to jump straight to, periods.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that just follows on quite well from, you know, the talk about generally vaginas anyway.
I agree. They are often inextricably linked.
They really are. Now, again, I'm lucky enough not to have them.
Yes.
Great stuff. Can't say I miss them. Brilliant.
You.
However, Mother Nature obviously does her thing for the majority of women. And where is the... I think what I was going to talk about was mainly the etiquette around, do you play with someone if they have a period?
Okay.
Interesting one to start. And also, you know, how do women generally feel about playing with other partners if they are on their period?
Well, I think we might be the worst qualified people to discuss this due to the fact I don't have periods either.
So
However,
the better question then might be
how
if
will
you
we
were
feel
to
about
encounter
it?
someone.
So LV and I did play with a lady. It was very nice. And we had a lovely time. And it was a fairly dark room. And there was some conversation, and what are you talking about, kind of thing. And she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I finished my period, but sometimes, at the end of a period, there is some leftovers." And it didn't bother me at all. And I really thought it might have done. And it didn't, not at all. So I was kind of like high-fiving myself for my amazing feminism and being really accepting. But I was really surprised but pleased that it didn't bother me. Would it have bothered me if she was in full flow? I think it would have been different because purely for the mess. And I'm not sure that if someone wasn't using a tampon, if it was all out there, how I would feel about, say, going down on someone who had their period. I know for some people it's a real thing. They really enjoy
Rainbow kiss.
Is that what it's called? Oh, there you go. I thought Pride was all about the rainbow kiss. That was something different. But taste the rainbows now got a different thing in my mind. But I mean, I certainly, when I used to have periods, actually felt really sexy. I really wanted to have sex, and so I don't know. What's
If you were going to have a date with someone of a lifestyle, would you want them to tell you and be upfront and give you a chance to sort of say no?
I don't think I'd want it as a surprise.
Yeah.
If I knew that, or if we were down to play that night, it had been pre-discussed and everything like that, and then only when we took our clothes off. Yeah. I kind of think actually, I was going to say there's a bit of courtesy to it, and I don't know. I feel like
why do you
that's
think
not the right
women
word.
may not want to tell someone else that they are, and they might try and awkwardly maybe talk around it instead?
Well, maybe because it's a natural thing and it shouldn't be an issue. But let's be honest, most of us have got white sheets. We need to plan ahead if that's a thing. And for some people, it wouldn't be what they want to do. And I think you should
maybe give people the option up front.
Yeah.
So would you prefer someone to say, "Oh, I know we're supposed to be or maybe talked about playing tonight, but this has now happened. I'm just giving you the
heads up.
Opt out. If you want to, you can
Or
bail."
actually, do you know what? I'm on my period.
Yeah.
I just want to eat chocolate and sit in my pajamas. And actually, can we, have a social? Because let's be honest, I remember what it's like to have a period, and actually, although sometimes I was really horny, sometimes actually I just wanted to sit in my pajamas and eat chocolate. So I definitely think it shouldn't be a surprise. I think it should be discussed, but that's just my opinion. I certainly don't think you should spring it on someone, as it were.
No, and I don't think it's either the right thing to maybe just ignore it either and pretend it's not a thing, and then just go, oh yeah, so this has happened. Sorry.
How would you feel about playing with someone?
I don't think it would bother me as long as I was given the option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
If I was given a choice, I think of ways around things. Great. I don't think it would bother me and Julie.
No,
not really.
No.
Okay.
Well,
Cool.
the
Interesting one.
most unqualified women to discuss such things have now discussed it. So.
Well, it's something that we probably have encountered at some point, like, people saying, oh, this has happened, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how about let's move on to another big topic, which I think we come across quite a bit, which is being bi in the lifestyle. Now, I don't know what your expectations were going in, but certainly my experience so far of being in a lifestyle, rightly or wrongly, is that there is generally a level of expectation that I am bisexual.
Now, obviously, everyone listening to this will have heard our amazing,
yes, obviously,
bi podcast. Was that episode number 46?
Oh, you are so behind the times, Vanilla Ice.
Oh,
it was
like
56.
Okay. You can tell I'm a massive super fan.
You're such a super fan.
I got the 6th bit right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Fine.
if you wanted to catch up on that, you but yeah.
So I think, I mean, not everyone that we've obviously met and played with in lifestyle will have heard that fantastic episode.
Go back and listen.
And actually may not even know going into it that I am bisexual.
As am I.
Unless they'd asked me or I'd volunteer that information in advance. My observation is more around, it's interesting that there's almost an unwritten kind of expectation that women in the lifestyle are going to be bi.
Yeah. And
that the men generally play straight, but some of them don't mind if things get bump in the night. And maybe, quite rarely, some men are bi as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that certainly has been my experience of, and for me, that's worked.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I wonder how I would feel if a woman wasn't playing. However, what I really wouldn't like is to feel that the woman was doing it because it was expected.
Yeah.
And actually, that goes for everything, I think, in the lifestyle. Or otherwise, if I, for 1 minute, think someone's doing something because their partner wants them to, or it's expected, again, in inverted commas, that is a great big fucking no-no for me. Like, then there's a whole other level of conversation needs to be had there. But
I agree. I completely agree. I mean, I know we've made some sweeping generalisations going into that statement by saying there is an unwritten expectation that women are bi, but I think that's just been my experience that it's the men have almost sometimes expected women to kick things off by being bi together. It's like, oh, the women will put a bit of a show on, they'll get the ball rolling by having a cheeky little kiss.
Literally not the ball rolling. The boobs rolling.
Now, that doesn't necessarily apply to our particular dynamic, as in myself and Mr. H, because as it happens, he's not really a massive fan of watching that anyway. He much prefers the level of inclusion where everyone gets involved, and he doesn't really particularly like to watch me being bisexual. Great, but that's fine. But it is interesting, and you can generally tell, I think, if a woman is putting on a bit of a display of, oh, this will get him going, let's go and do this. I'm like, no, I don't want to play with you if you're just doing it to make him hard or doing something for him. I want you to do it because you want to play with me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We wouldn't expect the man say,
just go and suck him off for me because I'd like to see that.
Right, yeah,
that's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, that wouldn't be okay if that's not what they're into.
No.
And it's, I don't know why there's such a difference, because it wouldn't be considered a thing. Maybe do you think it's down to the penis sort of like penetration. Do you think that is it?
So I think partly, again, porn has a lot to answer for.
Yep.
And I think, again, porn has demonised the kind of bisexual tendencies in the industry by
Yeah, I noticed, but I didn't point it out.
well, really just because it's a thing, isn't it? It's women together is always deemed to be erotic, generally speaking, in a porn category. So lesbians, brilliant. Whereas watching two men together generally isn't considered erotic. It's more of a we're probably gay.
Well, Kiwi said that, didn't he?
Yeah,
in
talking
episode
about the last one.
56. He said that if he wanted to watch a threesome, which was two guys and a girl, he had to look up gay porn, gay threesome, something along those lines.
And if you look at threesome, you'll generally find two women and a dude.
Right. Yeah.
It's so interesting that they just really do categorise it as fine. Women are going to get it on because women are pretty and erotic and they like playing with each other's boobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really a sad indictment of that's.
And actually, if you think
kind of
about,
what they
like,
expect.
say, a sexy picture, you could easily expect that sort of two girls might take a photo together. I say girls, women. And that could be quite sexy, but it would be much less likely, I would suggest, to see two guys kind of lying together taking a photo. I
mean, this reminds me of, I think it's one of the American Pie films. I'm trying to remember which one it is. It's the one where, oh goodness, they go and have some party at some boathouse or other, and there's a couple of women that come into the bedroom and they're sort of doing this quid pro quo type thing with Stifler and his mates going, oh, if we have a little kiss, then you've got to do the same sort of thing. I distinctly remember it being obviously that the men were all like, oh yeah, the women are going to get it on. And then they turn the tables on them and are like, no, I want to see you kiss him. Do you remember it?
Well,
you don't watch films, do you?
I don't watch films.
Fair.
But I did watch quite a lot of American Pie, so I probably did see it, and I just don't remember. But yeah, no, and I think both of our husbands have said in their menisode that actually for them it wouldn't be a turn on, sort of seeing someone being kind of
just bi for the sake of it,
right,
or try and be bi,
putting on a show. So I think they're quite woke in that way.
Oh gosh, what a word.
Oh, thanks.
Woke.
Yeah.
All right, interesting. So, and the whole bi man thing, because I think we've talked a bit about this ourselves, haven't we?
Yeah.
And neither of us are particularly offended by the concept.
No.
Oh no.
In fact, maybe we should be, when we're looking at threesomes on porn, we should be looking at gay threesomes there, because for me, it's not something I've experienced, so it's only a sort of fantasy, but I would be quite happy watching LV and another man. That would be hot
I
in
think
my
it would
mind.
be really interesting to see.
But it's not a situation that's come about, and it's not a situation that we've tried to make come about, because it's not something that he is feeling that that's something he wants to do at the moment. And actually, therefore, if he went to do it just to please me, that would not be cool.
Well, exactly. Hoist by your own petard. You'd be back into he's only doing it because he thinks I want to see it.
Exactly.
And that's not why you want him to do it. No, exactly that.
Oh,
interesting. Well, let's talk about orgasms.
Okay.
Big one.
The big
Literally the big O. And this is a fascinating subject because...
even if you do say so yourself.
It really is. I obsess about orgasms. I really do. So, I love them. I like giving myself orgasms. I like giving other people orgasms. I like other people giving me orgasms. However, I find them incredibly difficult to get there. And this is one of the things I have spoken about in previous episodes. And I've been really honest about the fact that it doesn't happen easily for me with other people. Yeah. In fact, for quite a long time, it did not happen at all.
In the lifestyle.
Correct. Absolutely. Which led to me feeling that there was something wrong with me. And I don't mean in a kind of poorly foof kind of way.
Poorly food.
Poorly foof. But more in it was clearly my mindset. There was clearly something mentally blocking me that was stopping me from getting there. Or I used to obsess about it and think, what is stopping it?
The obsessing will definitely have helped. When orgasm is quite a lot to do with your mind.
Well, it is, but some people seem to just like knock them out like Skittles and be sort of, oh, see, I've had my 50-second orgasm, sorry. Like, brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow, that helps.
Do you think they always are?
That's my question.
Okay.
So, how are women generally just having a bunch of orgasms, or are they faking it? And actually, is it okay to fake orgasms? And if not, why not?
All the questions.
All the questions.
Okay. Right.
Let's lift the lid on orgasms.
Let's probably.
All right. Have you ever faked one?
Yes.
Right. Why?
Because I felt that there was a lot of effort going in, and I didn't want the person to feel bad.
Why?
Because it wasn't for lack of effort. It was just that my mind wasn't in the right place, I guess. Have you?
Yes.
And why?
So, part of the same reasons. And you get to a point where you know it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Despite all the efforts and everything that this individual is putting in, you just think it's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen. You are literally wasting your time. Flogging a dead horse.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And part of your mind then kicks into, shit, I feel really bad for this person who's labouring away doing this thing, thinking they're getting somewhere and they're not actually. So at that point, I think it almost is a detrimental kind of impact, and it makes me go the other way and think, actually, I'm not enjoying it at all now, because I can't stop thinking about the fact that I'm not going to get there.
Yeah. And actually,
let's put an end to this torment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Not because I don't like the person and I don't recognise their efforts, but I just don't want to waste their time.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
awful though, because I'm only really cheating myself.
Are you though? I don't know, because
But then this will lead into another topic in a minute, which is around asking for what you want.
Yeah.
And being able to communicate
Yeah.
effectively. And actually, arguably, you've put yourself in the situation where you want to play with someone.
Yeah.
So, ergo, if you're playing with this person and you want to be there, why not ask for what you want in the first place and direct them and help yourself to get to a point where you don't have to end up in a situation where you are.
But is
finding
there
it's not
always
gonna
that
happen.
magic thing?
No, but I've got better at it.
Yeah.
And I don't think I was very good at it before.
Yeah.
And I think of late, I've probably reevaluated my approach to things and thought, fuck it, why shouldn't I get somewhere? Because I used to come away from situations feeling like shit, because he'd pleased the woman, he'd satisfied her, she got off, she was happy, they'd all had their happy finish.
Or she might not have.
Well, let's
But
assume she
yeah.
did. And I would be, and the dude that I was with was like, yeah, this is great. And I'd be the one sort of left feeling, unsatisfied, unhappy, disappointed, like generally really devoid of any emotion. And I partly contributed to that
Yeah.
by actually faking it anyway, just to stop it.
I found it really weird when we started off on this lifestyle thing, because I was so used to LV just knowing all the tricks
Knowing
of
your
the
body
trade.
and knowing how to get you
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
And then I was really, because I thought, I come really easily
there.
because I do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found it really peculiar that I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't expected it. I sort of thought,
Did you think it would have the same outcome for you?
Yeah. I just thought, oh, I'll just be able to come.
And is that because whoever it was playing with you was doing something different to what LV does, or because you're reacting differently to a different set of stimulus?
All of the
Or the
above.
situation.
And I was just going to say, the situation is so different. Actually, in some ways, it's hotter because I can see LV and the other person, and that's really hot. I really like that. But I suppose maybe there's more going on, which means that I find it harder to concentrate / not concentrate. I'm not sure exactly what I need to do. I don't know if it's that I need to concentrate on what's going on me, or I need to switch off on everything. I can't quite work it out.
So for me, there was sensory overload without a doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I know to get there myself, I have to be a bit selfish really sometimes, and I have to be focusing on what's happening in the sensation.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be sort of sitting there watching a film in the background and, you know, have this thing done to me. It's very much I have to immerse myself into that situation. So when you put yourself in a situation where there's like multiple people, maybe, or more than two of you, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's noises, and there's like there's people, and there's an environmental sort of change to what you normally have. I can't switch off from it. Or if I do, it must come across as just fucking rude, because I'm like, just give me a minute, I'm just going to zone out and not talk to you, not look at you, nothing, just do that.
So where you can, or you have been orgasming more,
Yeah.
what do you think has changed? How do you think that's...
So one of the things I've done is been a little more explicit and direct with what I would like. And by that, I mean physically moving someone to a place where it feels better, if it's just a little bit not quite where it needs to be. And actually just accepting that it's going to take longer than maybe the average person. And sometimes I might just give them a little heads up about that. And especially if they have the courtesy to ask me in advance and say, I'd really love to do this. I'd really like to make you come. What do I need to do?
Yeah.
And I'll be quite honest and say, it'll take me a while because I don't come just like that. But if you want me to, and you want to get me there, then it's just going to be a little bit longer.
You see that. So going back to the subject, I know you said we'd cover it later, but let's do it now.
Let's do it now.
The asking for what you want. I have found that really difficult because I have found that I have a whole level of... So you might have body concerns. I think I have inbuilt shame concerns. So
guilt for wanting to tell someone what you want.
Yeah, or guilt for enjoying stuff that I feel I shouldn't enjoy. So I don't know if it's the way I was brought up, or I don't know. But I find it really difficult that actually, say for example with me, that I enjoy someone being more I was going to say forceful. I don't mean that in a dominating way. Like
assertive, maybe.
No, not like that. Like more actually physically harder, but like, you know, a hard fuck, basically. Or, you know, if someone's touching me, I don't want like...
There you go.
It's like a massage.
You don't need any shame in saying it.
Yes, but I feel so embarrassed. Like, that, I feel like that's not... Oh my gosh, my feminist inside me is...
What do the Spice Girls do? Come on.
I know, but I feel like I shouldn't enjoy that because...
Because your upbringing and society has told you that it should be love making and it should be erotic and sensual and soft, and that actually hard fucking doesn't feature.
And that nice girls don't... I don't know.
You sound like a band name.
Shit band name. But my
nice girls don't get to do this.
But it's a real... LV has sort of said that actually one of the things he really likes, and it's only been very, very recently, like in the last very short amount of time, and we've been together like nearly 2 decades ish, closer to 2 decades than one, is I've sort of said, actually, I want you to do this because I've been so embarrassed, despite thinking I'm sexually liberated. I'm totally not. Like, I don't ask for stuff because of the shame of it.
Now I'm going to go out on a limb here, and another generalisation, but I think most men would agree they probably quite like to hear a woman tell them what they would like.
You're probably right. No, absolutely. And
I'm 100% sure.
If I
Mr. H would be absolutely on board with me saying, you know what, I'd really like you to do this tonight. Happy days, let's go. Unless it was something really weird, like having sex with a pig or something.
Ooh, David Cameron.
But if it was a generally, oh, all right, yeah, I'm down for that. Because actually what he wants is for me to be forward and, you know, have enough about myself that I have the self-value and self-worth to,
I totally agree.
Enjoy something. I'm not ashamed to say, this would make me turned on.
On paper,
please, let's do this.
Yes, I totally agree. I would tell every woman in particular, yes, you must do this. Right. Own your body, blah, blah. Being a fucking hypocrite. Because I just... Oh, man, there is no other word for it than feeling shame. And I don't know. So, yeah, okay. You can have the...
I'll have the body image thing and you'll have the shame.
Yeah, let's do that. Thank goodness the two aren't merged, because quite frankly, that'd be a car crash. But, yeah. I don't know.
So I wouldn't say I would necessarily experience shame or guilt in asking for more about what I want. I will say sometimes it makes me slightly embarrassed, perhaps, which is a little different to guilt and shame. It's more of a, oh God, I feel really awkward asking. Not because they're going to say no. I mean, they're not going to say no, are they? I'm like, yeah, let's crack on. Of course they won't.
Yeah, but what if they did?
And depends what you're asking them for.
Well, that's true. But yeah, see, I think that's part of my concern. What if someone... and bearing in mind, I'm really not into anything kinky. Like, I'm just...
Shall I put the Japanese and the strawberry ice cream away?
Oh, yeah, not on the balance.
Damn it.
But I'm just, you know, I'm quite vanilla in my sort of tastes, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, we say kinky is just a feather and perverted is using the whole chicken.
Oh.
Have you never heard that one?
No, and now I've got some kind of fucking horrible image.
I'm sure what you're asking LV for, or anyone for that matter, can't be that bad.
No, it's really not. It's really not. It's like, oh, can you just move a bit to the left? Or can you just...
Oh my God, the shame.
Yeah, but you see, it's you've got the worries about your boobs. I don't see what you're talking about. and vice versa.
So I think the closest I can get to what you're experiencing here is if there was an expectation on me to maybe talk dirty.
Oh.
Right. See, you've done that face. So for me, I can't do it. I just can't fucking do it. Because I make an absolute hash of it.
Yeah.
I'm just awful.
Yeah.
Because I don't really like doing it myself. Yeah. I find it very inauthentic to actually do it.
Yeah.
Now, I know some people would probably really like to hear it.
Yeah.
I don't mean right now. It's not happening.
Oh. Talk dirty to me, lady.
But I'm quite sure that some people probably do like it. Yeah. And, you know, I've had talkers in the past where they've been like going on in my ear for ages about stuff. And I'm just like, oh, I get that you love it. I really do. But I don't know what to say in return. And get myself really like, I don't even know what to tell you. I've got nothing to, so I say nothing.
Yeah, no, I
can't I'd have a conversation like, oh really? Yeah, that's really interesting. Thanks for letting me know.
I know. Because I'm just like, this is just awkward. And I don't know how, I don't know how to do it.
No, it's not a conversation starter. We're not trying to strike up a conversation with you. We're just telling you in the basest terms what works for them.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't come naturally to me, I find it really difficult.
I completely agree. When I'm the closest I get to talking dirty is when I'm about to come. I'm like, keep going. You know,
That's filthy.
That's about, or I'm nearly there. That's about as.
I experienced something once, and I know we've talked about it on one podcast, but since you don't listen, I'll indulge you.
Thanks. That's me. I don't listen. The
No,
listener is
exactly.
probably listening.
Exactly, but you'll appreciate this because obviously it's quite funny. So, as you know, I don't like a certain word. In fact, I will do everything to avoid.
Is it the P word?
It might well be that word, which I detest.
Pussy.
That wasn't me. I really don't like it.
Uh-huh.
So, and I was talking about this recently. In fact, yesterday, because me and the ever erstwhile Mr. H were talking about my lack of use of this word, and he reminded me of a time when I did use it once in the heat of the moment. And I went back to that point and I explored the reasons why I decided to utter it at several million decibels that night in the hotel. And it's because I don't use it, that on the odd chance I have used it, it does feel very naughty and very raw and animalistic.
Okay.
Probably because it doesn't feature in my lexicon very often. I don't even call, other road users this word because I just really don't use the word.
Yeah.
To me, it feels derogatory, and to me, it feels like there's some level of objectification, and I just don't like it. Okay. It feels very stag do mentality to me.
Yeah.
Or lads. However, on this occasion, I got a bit drunk and we went to a club, and then we came back to a hotel and we got really drunk, and then we had some fun. And I decided to yell quite loudly, I wanted to fuck my pussy.
Okay.
See, I'm cringing now saying it. Now, at the time, it felt like, fucking hell, I'm like in a porn film. This is amazing. I was owning the word. I used it repeatedly. And oh my goodness, Mr. H, poor Mr. H. I don't know if he didn't know what to do with it or if he liked it. I don't know. It's not going to happen very often for me. Mm-hmm. Because, again, the word doesn't conjure up great imagery. However, I think it's probably okay now and then to do something like that. Because it does really feel like the heat of the moment. It obviously was something so, as I say, so animalistic that night that it just felt appropriate.
Yeah.
But I do recall the next day the shame and the guilt and the, why would you use that word? It's awful. I felt terrible.
Really?
Yeah. How crazy is that? So
there's a really good book which I have wanged on about to you and everyone
yes.
else I've ever met called Feminists Don't Wear Pink. And it's amazing. If you haven't read it, regardless of your gender, it's amazing. It's a series of essays, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But one of the essays in there is about how can cunt be a bad word.
I love that word.
Yeah.
How strange.
But it's talking about, because for many people, I would say the majority of people, if you ask them what the worst swear word was,
they will say the C-bomb.
They would say the C-bomb. And it's sort of this woman, she's saying, how, when it's something so amazing, when it's something that can do so many things and this, that and the other, how can the word cunt be a derogatory term? And I find it interesting that you have such repulsion for the words pussy. Sorry, I've said it. Sorry. I know, as soon as I said it, I saw your face. I went, oh no, I'm sorry. But, and isn't that funny? I can say cunt in front of you and you don't bat an eyelid. And
doesn't bother me in the slightest.
No.
And it's quite acerbic and it's quite abrasive in it's even like the sound is like, it's like hard, isn't it?
Yeah, and with it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an aggressive terminology.
Yeah.
I quite like it. Whereas pussy, it just sounds weird and it conjures up this image of maybe someone just being a bit of a bell end and like being told not to be a pussy about something, and I just don't like the way it makes me feel.
Okay.
And I think if someone used it on me, as in I would like to
fuck your pussy.
Yes. I think I'd be like, oh, I don't think I want you to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I think that the way people use language can be a massive turn on or turn off.
Yeah.
And I think I find it, I wouldn't, when we've talked, LV and I, about what I find attractive in someone, particularly in a man, because he was trying to find, he's like, I know what you find attractive in a woman, but, what do you find attractive in a man? I said, well, it's not really a body thing. It's, actually, it's can they make me laugh? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And how they talk to me and that kind of thing. It matters so much more, which obviously you can't get from swiping left, right, whatever it is. And actually, LV said to me that even if there was the hottest guy in the world standing in front of me, but yet his political or moral, was so unaligned with how we, because LV and I are very politically, we're quite boring. We're quite into current affairs and stuff, but we're quite politically aligned, big P and small p. That actually that it would be at that point LV would say, I'm kind of not okay with you and this person. Whereas actually the physical thing,
I think the whole sapiosexual thing is really, really fascinating.
And just for those people who I do now know what it means, but for those people that might not know what sapiosexual
so they're
means.
being very attracted to intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what works for me.
Yeah.
100%. I've often said that I can be charmed into bed very easily with an intelligent mind and a good sense of humour. Like every time. I rate that far more highly on any scale than levels of attractiveness.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It really is.
If someone's got a passion for something, that is so attractive. Even if it is Transformers, but that's right. But actually, just seeing someone having something about them that makes them tick. Actually, that's so.
I agree. The whole wordplay, the wit that they possess, the ability to talk the talk and be intelligent and make me hang on their every word is an incredible turn on for me. It really is. So going back to the whole language thing, and I think it is really important. The use of someone's language in the bedroom is probably a bit of a deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
So whilst I'm not opposed to the concept of dirty talk turning up now and then, because hey. People have a drink and you can do something a bit different, and that's fine. I just know personally it's not me to talk that way. No. And use that kind of
I'm awkward.
That litany of sort of phrasing that people associate with, talking dirty.
I'm definitely like Alan Partridge if someone asks me to talk dirty. I'll go into the pedestrianisation of Norwich City Centre because I just feel so awkward I can only make a joke out of it.
So, all right, we've covered quite a few things and we're starting to run out of time. So I think we'll end on a big one. We haven't covered some big ones already.
Okay.
Let's end with squirting.
Because it's so on trend.
It's so trendy right now, isn't it?
So is it a thing you do?
Do you think it's enjoying a comeback? Or do you argue?
Comeback.
Why do you think now that squirting is prolific in the porn industry? More so, I think, than it was maybe 20 years ago.
So?
Because I don't think 20 years ago, if I looked at porn, I don't think squirting was really out there.
I have been really quite sheltered the last sort of 20 odd years. In a 2.4, children, monogamous marriage, not really watching porn, having sex once a week, that kind of thing. So actually, I haven't really been on the scene, I was going to say, with porn, watching it since the late 90s. Obviously, I was very young then. But
global hypercolour squirting t-shirts.
That was more 80s, wasn't it? yeah, so I only became really aware of it, and then it was everywhere, as it were.
Right. So where did you become
recently.
aware of it?
I think it happened to me first.
What, before you became aware that it was
Yeah.
a thing?
So me and LV were, you know, doing bedroom shenanigans, and it happened, and I thought, what the actual fuck has just happened? Actually, for me, at that time, the first time I did it, it coincided with an orgasm. So
You're
I
very
know
lucky.
it doesn't always,
No.
and it certainly hasn't always for me, but that particular time it did. And there was no... I was so confused. There was no disputing that something extraordinary had just happened. And I actually ended up Googling to see...
What just happened to me?
Yeah, I didn't even know the word squirting.
Did LV know what happened?
I would say so, but I was embarrassed and I didn't ask him. And bear in mind, this is actually really recently. But I looked up, I think the term I looked up was female ejaculation.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to have a bit of a conversation with one of my girlfriends. Oh, I've never heard of such a thing.
And were they like, oh, you just had a sex free?
No.
Because that's generally the action
No,
I get if I try and talk about it.
They said that they'd never heard of it.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my gosh, what is it? You know, what's happened? It was great, but also all the mess, and also what the hell. So I think I then probably did talk to LB about it and became aware it was a thing. And then suddenly it was a thing everywhere.
So maybe once you'd raised your head above the parapet a little bit and realised that something had happened to you, and then you started researching it, then you were just, oh my God, it's everywhere.
Right. So to me, I wonder, you know, chicken and egg thing, because we suddenly got more involved in watching porn or talking about these things. And that happened to coincide with me doing a female ejaculation. What the hell is this, Google? You know, oh, it's got a name, you know, and it's a thing. And actually talking to you guys a bit, because you said about someone who had a particular talent for
Yes.
getting the women to do such a thing.
For eliciting a physiological reaction.
Right.
Not necessarily giving the lady a climax to accompany it.
Right. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a thing that they're talking about, and I know what it is. So, yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts, experiences?
Interestingly, so if you'd asked me 5 years ago, I would literally poo-poo the idea. I mean, like, what the hell are you talking about? And whilst I probably would have gone into a research mode and gone and looked it up and had a, you know, oh, this must exist somewhere, otherwise people wouldn't use the phrase. But because it had never happened to me, I probably would have been very scornful as ever of, you know, its existence. And because it's quite a divided opinion sometimes when you do look at it on the internet, some people are adamant that it's not actually a thing and it's just women having a sex free.
Well, for those people who are wanting to find out
more,
can I suggest that you listen to the BBC's Unexpected Fluids? Because not only is it fucking amazing, but a couple of episodes ago, they had a lady on there who has the world record for squirting, and they also go into the biology and the scientific of what it's made.
Yeah, so that actually really interests me, the science behind it.
Do you know what?
Rather the biology behind it, maybe.
Well, according to what they were talking about on Unexpected Fluids this week, is actually there is a school of thought that actually it is completely cleaning you out. So some of it is, there is urine in it.
I think they've tested the fluid, haven't they, in their trials, and they have found there is a small amount.
Yeah, but apparently it gives such a good clean up because men can actually squirt as well. Again, something covered in this podcast. But yeah, it was really, I found that really interesting. So a school of thought is it just gives you a really good clean out. So I just think of it as a valet.
Oh God.
No? Is that not hot? I'd like you to valet my vag, please.
So yeah, it is a very, very interesting hot topic at the moment. And I think, especially going back to, relating this in some way to the lifestyle, which of course is, ultimately what we're talking about. And again, pardon the pun, I've come across it way more times than I ever thought I would.
Yeah.
Some women might as well have a certificate and a badge for it, because the amount of times they've mentioned it, alluded to it, promised it, shown off about it, told everyone in who was going to listen that they do it prolifically. Brilliant. Okay. Now, before I was able to do it, or it had happened to me, I was again very like, oh, brilliant, another thing I can't do. And I was really skeptical. So it has happened to me now. So I'm prepared to accept that it's real.
Do you enjoy it?
Oh, interesting question. Not always. There's been times when I've not enjoyed it because it hasn't really had any associated pleasure with it. It's just been a thing.
It's just been a ballet.
Just the ballet. No polish afterwards. Yes, it's possible to just literally do a party trick and make it happen if you've hit the right spot. And that has happened to me.
Yeah.
Where there's not been an associated pleasure or climax to make me enjoy the situation or the sensation. The sensation itself is really odd, I find.
Yeah.
Or it can be, because again it's not dissimilar to needing to have a wee.
Yeah.
So there is that kind of weird pressure of something's going to happen, don't know what it is, don't know how I feel about this, don't think I like it, but then it's okay. But more recently we've discovered the Enjoy, which is a toy, a very simple toy. It's just a metal bar, kind of a big ball, a big ball at one end and a small ball at the other. Beautifully made, really heavy, really very simple in its design. And I think it takes all the pressure off a man having to use his wrist, because to give a G-spot orgasm, I think it's probably quite difficult on the wrist for a man doing it, especially if a woman's not that able to come quite easily. So I have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed it, but it doesn't always, it's not a quick thing.
I think for me, I can't settle into it without knowing that I have basically waterproofed the room. Because it's just too messy. I like it, but I also can't deal with.
But do you like it because of what it does for you, or because you think actually LV might be really keen on the fact that he's done that?
Well, no, I was going to say, I don't care what he thinks on that. No, I enjoy the sensation of it, but I'm very much a more an internal stimulated person than you are.
Yeah.
So I think that actually that's probably partly the difference, maybe. So for me, generally, if I want to come, it needs to be some internal stimulation.
Interestingly, though, over time I have trained myself, if you like. Yeah, why not? I train myself like olives, so train myself in the same way to enjoy something again, which I was always very hateful of, which was, of course, the finger blasting.
Yeah, but that's because you call it that. There's no good
because
words
it's been
for
done
it.
really badly in the past.
Like fingering is just like
it's so schoolyard, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, it's so gross. Which is why, again, going back to the shame thing, I would never say to someone, "Oh, I want you to finger me," because it just sounds gross.
But it really doesn't sound nice, does it?
No, it doesn't. It needs a new term. But actually,
it needs a new term.
That's kind of what I would want. But I wouldn't say to someone.
So how do you explain to someone then what you want them to do?
Oh, I don't.
Well, there you go. So we're back to
I know.
Back to square one. How do we ever expect to get what we want from a situation if we A, can't use the words because we find them so deplorable, and B, because of the mess, and C, because we're too embarrassed to say the words.
Yeah.
We're just a hot mess.
Yeah.
So we need to get better asking for what we want.
We do.
And
What we
using
really,
the
really
language to say what we want.
Yeah. And
And
owning
not
us.
worrying about the aftermath.
Yeah, what would the Spice Girls do? That's what we need to
They'd
do.
have a really messy bedroom.
They would. They wouldn't care.
There'd be towels everywhere.
There would be towels everywhere. It would be amazing. It'd be Christina with her "Let me get mine, you'll get yours." You know that she could come and join in with the Spice. Oh my gosh, this is like a fantasy.
It really is. Well, I think on that note, so now we know what the Spice Girls would do.
Yeah, what we imagine they would do.
What we imagine
With
they might do. Yeah. So this has been fascinating.
Yeah. We haven't covered half the things we were going to.
Well, there's a few little things that we
But I do think we've probably covered it better than we did in our first drunken ramblings.
Yeah, we've been like a jack of all trades, master of none, I think, in the last one.
Jacking off.
Jacking off all trades.
Doesn't matter your trade, we'll jack you off.
Yeah, no, this has been really interesting.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you for your honesty.
Well, thank you.
And for you actually managed to get me to say those words.
Yeah, and I have now told whoever listens to this that I like a fingering.
Oh my god.
So do we now release Mr. H from the dungeon? We've kept him away from us so he didn't interfere in
Yeah, we couldn't have him interfering. No,
because he'd just be looking at us going, "Oh, you haven't said this," or "Oh, the time."
So, all right, we will wrap it up here. Vanilla Rice, thank you so much for joining me today. And poor Mr. H has been, he must have been having a terrible time knowing that I'm driving tonight, and him not having anything to do with this.
Watching South Park.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Well, you've driven very well. It's not true what people say about women drivers.
Wait, what do people say?
Well,
I'll have you know I can reverse park like a fucking genius.
Well, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about general.
And I can do it while I'm making myself squirt as well.
Oh. Okay, good effort.
You don't ever want to lift in my car.
Maybe I do.
Well, on that note.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. And back to the show.
Thank you.
Well, that was a delightful fireside chat between two beautiful women.
Thank you.
Thank you
and
very
how
much.
hard did you find it not to butt in?
Well, when I was editing this part of the show, and I did that before I came to record this little end bit, the magic behind the scenes, the science of it all.
Absolute dream smasher.
I know. I wanted to go in and say so many things. And much of it actually was really reassuring to both of you. I think much of it was around... you don't need to worry. You're both stunning, and you're both hot, and you're both lovely, and you both have great personalities. So it was really, I wanted to step in and give you those reassurances. There were a few things that sort of jumped out to me that I thought would be worth touching upon for now. Following the episode. And I'm sure people will have their own comments. So, if you do, get in touch and add to the chat and whatnot. But for me, I think it's really, really important that in the lifestyle that you ask for what you want.
Yeah.
And I think silence is an absolute pain. And, I don't think it matters whether... And that was the other thing that struck me, is that it doesn't matter, some of these truths, whether you're a man or a woman. Though, of course, as a man, you don't necessarily want to design a vagina. I get that. But actually, the asking for what you want and what you like and being vocal, or at least indicating what you like, is so, so important, because it really makes your partner feel as though you're paying attention to them and giving them a chance to satisfy you. And quite often that's all people want to do, is make you happy. Maybe it's just me. That's the luck of what I've encountered. But it's so important to do that. And the more you can do to create an environment where that is possible and people feel comfortable, the better off you'll be.
Okay.
I think that was the first thing. The second thing that sort of came to mind, really, was that actually, universally, I think everybody, man or woman, has body issues.
I would agree with that.
And I think it's not just limited to women, although certain things women are worried about, certain things some guys are worried about, I think. And I guess what I've tended to notice within the lifestyle is actually some guys don't give a shit, but some guys worry all the time.
Yeah,
I know
think
which
that's very
camp
true.
I fall into.
And bear in mind some of these statements and opinions that we expressed in our interview, of course, were massive sweeping generalisations, and we are not trying to offend groups of people by saying that this is how all people feel, because, of course, they're our opinions, and everyone's entitled to have a different one.
No, I absolutely get that, and I think it's a really valid piece to just remind everyone that actually, as human beings, everybody has their worries, everyone has their concerns, and something that you may see as a huge big deal, not to trivialise that, but to the average person that meets you, probably doesn't even notice it or even worry about it, and that's quite an interesting little piece, and it's something that actually it was quite, having spoken about some of my own body issues, sometimes I do think actually, what am I worried about? It really isn't that big a deal.
I think the day I stop having body issues is the day that I actually stop caring.
Possibly.
And not actually bothering to improve or create a better version of myself, because I won't give a shit anymore.
Well, that was January 2018.
That was a rough 3 weeks for us. But, fortunately now I just get wine and chips in and around my face every day, and I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. So a huge thank you to Vanilla Ice for coming along on the show. A huge thank you to Lord Voldemort for looking after everyone back at home while she was stomping around her house. I say stomping, sat comfortably in
She was
almost
sat
pyjamas,
comfortably.
having wine and chocolate really. So
Right, it was really nice and chilled.
It was no hardship. Thank you to me for remaining
Oh,
outside of the
good
room
Lord.
and not interfering whatsoever. and for editing it
Yes,
so
you
well.
did an admirable job of remaining quiet and playing games.
I
Well done.
No, all I did was sat and watch South Park. That's clearly all I needed to do. So, thank you very much for listening today. Hope you've enjoyed the show. We're sure you got some comments. If you do, send them to bedhoppersuk on Twitter or bedhoppersuk@gmail.com or bedhopperssuck, whichever one you prefer to say. We're also on Fab Swingers, Bedhoppers, and we're also on Double Date Nation as Bedhoppers as well. So,
We are just everywhere.
we're not everywhere, but
I feel like we're omnipotent.
we do have an Instagram account as well.
Oh my god.
We don't often mention the Instagram, but there's mostly pictures of Yoko.
This is true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most-
absolutely. That dog's a star.
Yeah, she does very well, and the odd light that we've discovered. Anyway, so yeah, get in touch with us if you've got a comment or a thought. Don't be shy, and if you've had concerns and want someone to chat to, I'm sure we'll be around to help with that as well. Not that we're professionals in any shape or form, but we might be able to help. So, just a final reminder. So, next couple of episodes, we're talking about Room 101. So, if you've got a thing that you hate about the lifestyle or swinging or all of these things that we get up to, let us know about it and we'll chuck it into Room 101
You're
for
going
you.
to be really annoyed if you're one of the things.
Yeah, it's like, it'll
Please put Mr. H and his voice in there.
Yes,
He
please.
doesn't stop talking.
He doesn't stop talking. He doesn't let Mrs. H talk. His impressions and singing are shit. Please put him in there. And also that fucking ukulele. So, yeah, please chuck those things in.
Oh, that
Room
went there a
101.
while ago.
Yeah, I know. All right, fine. I think you already put it in there. And then the other thing is around taking one for the team. So if you've got thoughts, if you've done that, if you've come up with a situation where you've avoided doing that, what are your tactics, anything like around that type of stuff, please get in touch with us at the, I would say above addresses, but the addresses that I've already mentioned. That would be absolutely fabulous. Mrs. H, do that funky thing, please.
Well, thank you for hopping into our bed.
So, just for reference, the things that aren't allowed to go into Room 101 are Transformers, pets walking into the room, apparently Mr. Kitty or Yoko, me,
Goblin King.
the Goblin King, anything else that we want? Pokemon Go can't go into Room 101 apparently.
No.
So we've set some limits around this whole thing.
Absolutely.
Mostly stuff
Cats. Generally, cats can't go into
we
room
like. Oh, cats
101.
can go in there generally. Most cats are assholes.
Yeah, but we can't go into room 101.
No, I think they can.
No.
No, I think they can.
I mean, that's not an exhaustive list.
No, it's not exhaustive, but I think that's a good starting point.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.